Hi, welcome to Beer Bellies. I'm Nate.
I'm Ronnie.
I'm Mark.
And tonight we have a very special episode with 3 bourbon barrel-aged stouts.
You want to do a Ronnie
I'm
style?
gonna go all the way Ronnie style, but I can pretty much.
All right.
We've got Revolution Deth Star, we've got Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, and we've got Founders Kentucky Barrel Stout. I love these beers. They're super big, huge flavor, high ABV. Let's start with the Deth Star.
With pleasure.
So this is Revolution Deth Star, 14.8% ABV. You can smell the bourbon on the beer. It drinks super thick, very smooth,
Silky.
extremely boozy.
It almost smells like I have like a burnt, like sugary kind of caramel smell to it, which is not bad. Just
I mean, it's good though.
That's
I'm
not bad.
pleasantly surprised, being the stouts.
And this is the stoutest of the stout. Let's move on to the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. This one is 14.7 ABV. I don't get as heavy of a bourbon flavor on it, but it's still a pretty strong aroma.
Maybe because that one was so strong, I don't really smell much on this.
this tastes
There's like a sweet smell though.
yeah, and it tastes a little fruitier. I have like a little bit of like some like dates or plum or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like the stout itself has a bit of tartness to it.
I don't get as much booze on it.
Definitely less booze on the nose for sure, and I think I can't get over the sweetness.
And this one just doesn't quite coat the throat as it goes down the same way that the Deth Star does. It's still extremely boozy.
Yeah.
It tastes like somebody poured a little bit of bourbon in a stout.
Maybe the other one numbed me.
Maybe.
Is your palate ruined already, Ronnie?
I mean, I don't know if it's ruined, but that might mean it's enhanced.
Yes.
We didn't talk about color though, but it looks like all
Black.
three of these might be,
Black as
just
night.
like you can't see through it all, right?
Right. There's motor oil. Let's go ahead and move on to the Founders Kentucky Bourbon Stout. So this one, you can smell coffee on it from the start.
Yep. First thing that hits is a lot more bitter than the other ones.
Yeah.
But like a bitter coffee flavor, which
Yeah.
isn't necessarily bad.
So with that said, the KBS is the only one that on their base model does actually have coffee flavor imbued in the stout itself.
Okay.
So that coffee flavor on this one is certainly intentional.
And to your point earlier about the smoothness, the silkiness, way less smoothness on this from these other two.
So this might be more what I think of when I think of a stout. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm not digging it as much.
Well, this one's only 12.2 ABV.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's why.
So it's pretty
There
weak.
we go.
Give me 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's 2% more disappointing.
So I will say for each of these, picking these guys up at the liquor store, the Deth Star is $8 a can, which puts it at 66 cents per ounce. The Bourbon County Stout is $13 a bottle. That puts it at 76 cents an ounce. And the KBS is $4.25 a can, which puts it at 35 cents an ounce.
Okay.
So the Bourbon County is the most expensive of the 76. And the KBS, even though it's 2% more disappointing, it actually only costs half of what the other ones cost.
All right. That makes up for it.
If we had to pick, how would you guys choose amongst these 3?
I think the answer for me is it depends, because if I'm going to have more than one, I would probably choose the KBS. It's tasty, it's lighter. I could probably enjoy 1 to 2 of those. So if I had to choose, honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I'd probably pick the Bourbon County. I like that sweetness on there. And I know it tastes different year to year depending on which variant you get of that or whichever year you get of the regular. But
Speaking of years, each of these is the 2019 also.
2019,
so none of
yeah.
these have been aged. And when they do get aged, it will change the flavor profile on them.
yeah, so I think if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick probably the Bourbon County.
And with that said, the Bourbon County one probably does age the best as well.
So this one, the KBS, is kind of out for me as far as like what I would prefer, even price considered. Of course, I'm only going to drink this stuff with you anyway. So
Yeah, when I'm buying.
Even better.
So price does not matter for him.
if I'm, wanting something with a little more of that booze on it, then I'm going to go with the Death Star.
So for me, the KBS is out also. Now with that said, I get KBS at least a 4-pack every year it comes out, minimum. I really like to bring out some aged Bourbon County bottles and share those with 2 or 3 friends, 1 or 2 friends.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Whereas the Deth Star, I do not have a problem with cracking one of these open and handling it on my own. And I'll just kind of slow roll it through the night, and it makes me happy. So ultimately, my number one vote goes to Deth Star.
Can we assume that you're probably going to want to have these aside from a meal, right?
I drink them through dinner, right? I'm having my barrel-aged beer, and everything else is just kind of secondary to that.
It's just, they're so flavorful and they're so powerful and there's so much that's going on there that I almost wouldn't even want to be having like food at the same time as it. It would like almost take away from the awesomeness of the beer.
So now that we're getting close to the bottom of the glasses, I want to kind of touch back on what these taste like now that they've had some time to warm up. Mm-hmm. So the KBS, I think it's not so heavy on the coffee. The smell's still high on the coffee, but the actual flavor going down isn't as hard. Mark can't contribute here because he pulled a Brian and drank all of his beer already.
Sorry. Not sorry.
I drank the KGB too.
He's drinking the KGB. The Bourbon County actually, it almost thickened up a little bit for me. It feels like it kind of is more on par with the Deth Star now. It goes down a little more with that syrupy kind of texture. The booziness dropped off a little bit. It's not as sharp of a booze flavor, which is what you would expect when they warm up. I feel like the Bourbon County actually is much better now that it's warmer than when we first popped it open.
Yeah, and I liked it from the start, and I think it's opened up even more since it's warmed up. It's fantastic.
And as far as the Deth Star goes, actually, I think the booziness actually mellowed out quite a bit on this one.
Yeah, because that first initial hit when we opened it was very boozy, and then as it warmed up, it mellowed out a ton.
3 quick points here. The Deth Star is probably my number one, especially if I'm drinking it by myself. The Bourbon County Stout is kind of my party beer. And then lastly, these barrel-aged stouts just make me happy. They can turn a crappy day into a happy day just by opening the can.
So 3 quick points for me. Deth Star, absolutely worth the money. For me personally, the Bourbon County was fantastic tonight. I like the sweetness. And then the KBS it's lighter. You definitely know that there's a difference between the first two that you drank and that one, but really, really nice as well, and absolutely worth going and picking up.
I'm going to agree with Mark. The Deth Star is definitely worth Nate's money. It's good. I like that bourbon kick to it. It's definitely on the boozy side. And then the Bourbon County, nice sweet taste, very balanced once it warms up. I really dig that too. The KBS is a little more toward your traditional stout as far as taste goes for me, but the added coffee flavor gives it, tops it off kind of nice. Yeah.
With that, I'd like to thank you for watching this episode of Beer Bellies. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave any requested reviews in the comments. Cheers.
Cheers.
Beer Bellies is fun.
That's the outro for sure.